Hello everyone. So in this video I'm going to review the gameplay of Fortnite Monopoly. There are several differences between how you would play this Monopoly versus a traditional Monopoly. First I'm going to go over the differences and then how you would set up the game and how you start and play the game, as well as how you would win the game. There are four major differences between this and a regular Monopoly. Number one, there are no money available on this Monopoly. Instead, you have these HP tokens. Each player will have 15 HP to begin with, and they can never have more than 15 HP. There are several ways you can actually gain HP throughout the game. Number one, when you roll the action die, and there are two bandages on the two sides when you put the stickers on, and each bandage will get you 2 HP. So when you land on that, you actually, from the bank, you will pick up 2 HP. But again, remember, you can never have more than 15 HP. Another way you can gain HP is by landing on these campfires, and we have 4 on the game board, 1 on each side of it. And when you land on a campfire, you will gain 1 HP. Another way you can actually gain HP is by landing on these chest spots. And if you're lucky enough to grab one of these 2 cards, you can gain HP. Number one, we have the chug jug. And when you use this chug jug, you can go to a full HP, which is 15. There's only one of these cards available in the chest stack, chest cards. Another item you can have is going to be your medkit. A medkit will get you 5 HP, and that's another way you can go ahead gain HP. So these are some of the ways you can gain HP. But you can also lose HP. For example, if you're attacked by another player, or if you find yourself in the storm, you're gonna lose HP, and we're gonna talk about that in a little bit. The second change in this game is how you actually start the game. So instead of everyone starting from the go box, we're going to drop from the battle boss. So we're gonna take turns, roll the dice, and whoever has the highest number is going to select and land wherever he or she would like on the board. And then we're gonna take turn to the next person, and next person, until we all spread in the game. The reason we're trying to separate the players in the game, so you won't easily and quickly get attacked and lose HP by other players, similar to Battle Royale, that you're actually trying to land in different spots and until you can get some loot and go ahead, get ready for the attack. The next change, which we already start talking about it, is the action die. You roll this die along with the numbered die. On your turn, you will move and you will activate an action like setting off a boogie bomb or building a wall on the board that will force players to stop on that space. And these are the wall cards. And the last item is, as the game moves forward, similar to Battle Royale, the storm's gonna close us in, which limits the amount of spaces the players can be in without getting damaged. So every time a player lands or passes the go spot, they actually must draw a storm card. And the storm card is gonna give different instructions. Some of them are very specific. It will say to activate a particular spot and turn that into a storm zone, or it will be open, such as this one. It says, choose any location, place that location card on the storm side up in its space. So you will identify a particular location, and you identify that being in the storm. And we're gonna talk a little bit more about that. So these are the 4 main changes. Again, no money, instead you have the HP chips. You drop from the battle bus, so you can land anywhere on the board and start the game. You have your action die, and also the way the storm approaches. First time when you're gonna play, you actually have to go ahead, punch out each of these outfits and place them on the plastic stands. There are a total of 27 cards or skins, and you have enough stands for every single one of them. In my box, I had 27 cards and 28 stands. I don't know if that's by accident that you have an extra one, or they were nice enough to include an extra one in case if you lose one or break one. But they're really good quality, so I don't really think they're gonna break. So the next thing you're gonna do is going to punch out these wall cards, and I went over some of these initial setup and unboxing in my other video, so if you haven't seen it, take a look at the link below so you can take a look at the unboxing video that I've done. And then punching out these HP cards, applying the stickers on the 6 sides. I will suggest make sure the 2 bandages, you're gonna have it on the 2 opposite sides, as well as the attack symbols on the 2 opposite sides. So you have 2 attacks, 2 bandages, you have brick, and you have a boogie bomb, and that's building a wall. So those are some of the things you need to do for the very first time that you're playing the game. So now let's talk about how we're going to set up the game so we can get started. Number 1, you're gonna go ahead, place all the HP chips in the center within reach of all the players. Then you're gonna go ahead, get the stack of chest cards, make sure, go ahead, shuffle them and place them in the center like that. And then you're gonna go ahead, grab your storm cards, again, shuffle and place them in the other designated area. The third thing you're gonna do is grab all your location cards and go ahead, place them right next to their matching board spaces. If you don't have enough space, the recommendation is to have them somewhere in the reach that you can go ahead, distribute them as player land on the locations and they're going to claim them. So we're gonna go ahead, set up these cards real quick. So next, what we're gonna do, go ahead, give each player 15 HP chips, and that way everyone will be at full health. And once you distribute that, we are ready to go ahead, get started. First, each player is going to start with the number die and roll the dice. And the highest numbered die will go ahead, choose where they want to start the game. So if I have rolled a 6, having the highest, I will go ahead, select my skin. So I'm going to go with the Skull Trooper. And I'm jealous I don't have this in the game, so in the Monopoly game I think I'm going to stick with this when I can. And I'm going to go ahead, select where I would start. So for example, I will go to Loot Lake, why not? And then the next player and the next player. And now everyone's at full health. They have dropped from the battle bus and we are ready to go ahead, get started. So how do you win? You need to make your way around the board, claiming locations, battle your opponents, and try to avoid the storm as much as you can. And ultimately, the last player standing is going to win. So let's say it's my turn. I claimed Loot Lake, and I'm gonna go ahead and get started. By the way, the person who had the highest roll on the first turn to claim their position is going to roll and play first, and after that, the player on the left side is gonna start rolling the dice and continue to play. So I'm gonna roll the dice. So I have 3. First, I'm going to move 3, 1, 2, 3. I land on a trap. It says -1 HP. So from the 15 HP I have, I need to give 1 back to the bank. And then I'm going to play my action die. And the action die, I have a bandage, which means I'm going to claim 2 back. However, remember, you can never go over 15 HP. So I started with 15 HP here, I lost 1, I go to 14, I gain 2 back, but I can only get 1, so I'll be back to 15. Now the player on my left side is going to roll the dice and continue to play. A common fun part about Monopoly is trading cards and locations. At any time, during your turn, you can actually try to negotiate and change cards with any player you like. There are two things you can actually trade. Number one, so if I have Loot Lake and I have claimed this, I can actually try to trade my location with another player. The other trade I can make is some of these loot cards, they are what is called one-time use. So for example, like a Klinger. It's a one-time use, which means when I actually grab this, I can actually hold on to it. So that's one of my cards. So I can trade one-time use loot cards or my property cards. So those are the two ways that you can go ahead and make any trades with players. What's interesting about the game, the person who owns the most claimed properties is not necessarily going to be the one who's going to win. Ultimately, the goal is to be able to the last man standing. And next, I want to tell you guys about the go spot. In this game, once you actually land on go or pass go, instead you claim 2 HP from the bank. Remember, you cannot have more than 15 HP. So if you're already at, you're not gonna get any. If you're 14, you're only gonna get 1. Also, one other thing you're gonna do, every time a player passes go, the storm is essentially shrinking. So what you will do, every time you pass go, you're gonna go ahead, flip over the top storm card. So this one, for example, says, place this card face down on the go to jail space. Players no longer go to jail when they land on that space. So go to jail, I'm gonna put it here. Now go to jail is part of the storm. So they no longer activate what's underneath this. Instead, this is gonna be considered a storm area. Now sometimes you may have the ability to place the storm card on the go space. And when that happens, the players who land on or pass go will no longer able to draw 2 HP, but they continue to draw another storm card. For example, this one says place this card on any campfire space. So as you can see, different places of the game are going to be continue to be taken over by the storm, and that's how the storm's shrinking, and you have less safe zone essentially in the game. Similar to a regular Monopoly game, obviously it's very exciting to try to be able to collect a full set. The advantage in Fortnite Monopoly is when you have a set collected and you land on any of these spots, you are able to collect 2 HP. So that's your way of trying to continue to regain health and avoid the storm as much as you can, or losing health. Also, one thing I forgot to mention is when you land on an unclaimed property, you actually don't pay anything to trying to claim that location. You simply just claim it. You don't lose any HP, you simply claim it. Now when you land on someone else's property, you will see a number that you would have to pay HP. What you will do, you pay the HP, your health points, back to the bank, not to the other player. Now, if a storm has taken over a particular location, when a player lands on that spot, they end up paying a little bit more HP. So for example, Tomato Town, normally you would lose 1 HP, but when it has taken by the storm, which in that case we would flip that card over, you will see it is instructing you to lose 2 HP, which you will have to pay back to the bank. In this game, similar to a regular Monopoly, when you land on free parking or just visiting, there is nothing going on. Just relax and wait for your next turn. So let me tell you a little bit more about the loot chest cards. There are 2 types of cards. There are ones that it would impact you for the rest of the game, and there are ones that you can only use them one time. The ones that you can only use them one time, you are able to hold on to them and use them whenever you like, but only when it's your turn again. And for example, we have a bouncer trap. It says one-time use. Move any player up to 4 spaces forward or backward. they must complete the action of the space where they land. So let's say the Paradise Palm is already claimed by a player, and somebody will get the bouncer trap, so they can force me to move up to 4 space in either direction. So they can make me go, let's say 3 spaces forward, 1, 2, 3, and I'm going to lose 1 HP. And because the go is taken over by the storm, I am not collecting 2 HP in this case. Once I use a one-time use cards, then I simply go ahead, put it at the bottom of the stack, and the game continues. There are some other cards that they're not one-time use. So for example, this one is a stink bomb. It says when you roll the attack action die, all players in your line of sight will pay up to 3 HP to the bank, and we're going to talk about line of sight a little bit more in a minute. Next, we're going to go ahead and talk about go to jail and the jail space itself. So number one, just a reminder, if you are landing on go to jail and it's taken by the storm, you will not go to jail. However, when you land on go to jail space and you do go to jail, 2 things need to happen. Number one, your character will go to the jail, like I said. Now, if the storm has taken the space, you lose 2 HP, but you're not in jail. You can move normally on your next turn. Number 2, you're going to draw another storm card and activate a storm and shrink the map based on the instruction you have. So storm cards are drawn 2 ways. When somebody goes to jail, and when you land on the go space or past the go space. While you're in jail, if the storm takes over the jail, you will not lose any HP to the bank. And the way you get out of the jail, you can pay before you roll the dice. You can give 2 HP back to the bank and go ahead, roll the dice and get out and continue with the game. Or you can try your luck and try to roll the die. If you're lucky like me and you get a 6, then you can go ahead, get both dice and go ahead, roll and continue to play. 1, 2, 3, 4. I'm gonna grab the chest and then activate a boogie bomb. But there's a really simple and nice instruction in the manual, so you can always refer to that and make sure you're following what you should be doing. If you're in the jail and storm takes over, you're not gonna lose 2 HP every turn while you're trying to get out. And ultimately, similar to a regular Monopoly game, after you make 2 attempts in 2 different turns trying to roll and you do not get a 6, then you will be able to continue your play normally. So next I want to tell you a little bit more about some of the action items from the action die. So we already talked about the bandage. You are going to get 2 HP from the bank, and we have 2 of them on this die. Then we have the crosshair, we have 2 of them. So when you roll the crosshair, if anyone is on your line of sight, you're able to go ahead attack them, which means they have to pay 1 HP to the bank. So a line of sight is anyone who is on the same side of the board. So if I'm standing here in Paradise, if anyone's on anywhere from go to just visiting, I'm able to go ahead attack them. Fun fact, if you're in jail, you can still get attacked by someone who roll this die, and when you get attacked, you're gonna lose 1 HP. The other one you're able to get is the boogie bomb. Once you roll the boogie bomb, all players will lose 1 HP and they have to give it back to the bank. And also another thing that the boogie bomb will do, if there are any walls on the board, you're going to destroy all the walls with your boogie bomb. So you're gonna go ahead, collect all the walls and put it outside and wherever you keep a stack on the side of the board. And the last item is the brick. When you have the brick, what would happen is you're gonna go ahead actually play the number die first, and then on that path, anywhere you would like, you're able to go ahead build a wall. So for example, let's say I roll a 5 and the brick. So I'm gonna go ahead play 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Then what I can do, anywhere on these 5 spots, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, I am able to go ahead build a wall. So I can go ahead put a wall right here on this chest loot. I will be telling you guys shortly that what a wall will do. So next I want to tell you a little bit more about the walls. What do they do and how do you destroy them? So we already talked about the fact that if you roll a boogie bomb, all the walls on the board are going to be destroyed and you're going to take them off the game. Another way is by simply reaching a wall. Regardless of what you have rolled, you have to stop there, but also that will destroy the wall. So if I were to roll, for example, a 5 in this case, I could go 1, 2, 3. I have to stop here and the wall will get destroyed. You have to think about it and be very creative and tactical about which die you're gonna play first. So let's say if I have rolled a 5 and a crosshair. So there are 2 ways I can play this. I can play the 5 first, which I will go 1, 2, 3. I have to stop here. I destroy the wall, and then I can attack this player and he or she will lose 1 HP. Or I can play the crosshair first and I can attack the wall just like I can attack a player. So the crosshair, it is in my line of sight. It will go ahead destroy it, and then I can play my 5, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and Snobby Shores, if it's not claimed, then I can go ahead and claim that property. So it does matter which one you're gonna play first. So think about the moves and the options that you have. One last thing I forgot to mention, guys, is about line of sight when you get the crosshair action die. So your line of sight is going to be everybody on that side of the board. However, if you are on any of the 4 corners, your line of sight extends to 2 sides of the map. So if I am here in free parking space, my line of sight includes pretty much half the map. So that gives you a lot of power. So this is it, guys. As you can see, this game includes many interesting parts of Battle Royale into this Monopoly game by using these HP tokens and not having any money, the way we drop from the battle bus, and the way we lose HP, we gain HP using bandages, chug jug, and ultimately, and most exciting and interesting part of it is how the storm shrinks and you end up having many parts of the map that are no longer going to be safe for you to be in, and you're gonna lose HP. If you are the last man standing and the only one with your HP tokens, you're gonna win the game. I really hope you guys enjoyed this video. Hopefully it's gonna help you to go ahead, kickstart your game much faster. Please go ahead, hit that like button if you enjoyed it, and thank you so much for watching.